Just by introduction of myself, my name is Toby Leqili. I'm the director responsible for the business and general cluster within QCTO. I'm going to deal with accreditation, especially in relation to SDPs. The fundamental issue, and this is something I just want to state up front. There's a paradigm shift and a difference between how the CETAs operated and how QCTO operates. And the reason for that is improved quality assurance. Vocational education and training is not well understood within South Africa, but it's extremely valuable. We are in the process of establishing SafeSet, South African Institute for Vocational Education and Training. Now, first world countries value it because it adds value in terms of your economy. It professionalizes different spaces by creating a specific standard. Remember, the qualification itself that we're discussing today creates a standard. That's a standard regardless of whether you trained in Kwakwa in the Free State or whether you trained in Sandton in Johannesburg. Doesn't matter. The qualification is the equalizer. The competency framework, which is a national competency framework, is the equalizer. It creates and it resolves the parity of esteem issue between different qualifications. Before I get into the outline, I need everyone to understand the fundamental shift. For example, with the historical qualification, you would do the qualification, the CETA would go, they would monitor that context, you do your POEs, they'd send their moderators, etc., etc. There was no national assessment. The difference between this context is that there's a national assessment. And the reason for that is, once again, the parity of esteem issue and resolving that. Let me explain what I mean by parity of esteem. Let's say, for example, I was in Cape Town, and I'm a student, and I did a BCom in economics. And I did my BCom in economics at UCT. My average is 60%. And then another student did their BCom at UWC, right? Also 60%. We both applied to the employer. Both of us have got a BCom degree. Both of us have got a 60% average. Who do you think the employer is going to take? UCT. Why? The parity of esteem issue. Now, in the vocational space, it's very difficult for us to allow that parity of esteem issue to keep running and for us not to resolve it, simply because in our space, we cater for the whole country and we cater for capacity for the entire country. All right, so these are our accreditation types. We've got the new qualifications, the occupational qualification, the part qualification, and we've got the skills programs. These are the three new types. Even if you look at the new OQSF document, it's available. And then, of course, we've got the historically registered qualifications. That's the historical qualification that was mentioned. As you know, in 2020, there was a ministerial determination published giving a specific time frame in terms of the historical qualifications. It stated that all of these have to be, in essence, deactivated from the system from the 30th of June 2023. It then gives a teach-out period of, a learner enrollment period for a year from 2023 to 2024. It therefore means from the 1st of July 2024, there will be no learner who's able to be put onto a historical qualification. In terms of the process, we have an online application on our website. You go onto that platform, you fill everything in that you need to fill in. There's a bit of a time delay between the screens, okay? You fill everything that you need to fill. It's online. The reason it's online is previously it wasn't online and things would fall between the cracks. When it's on a digital platform, it's digitally in the system. We know when the application come in. We have a 90-day turnaround time from the point in which you, as a provider, load your data to us. Once you load your data onto our system and we receive it, we acknowledge it, and then we schedule the site verification. all of that process right up until accreditation. We schedule the site verification. After the site verification, it goes to our accreditation committee. After accreditation committee, you get your accreditation letter. So that's generically the process. We send the links to the applicants, and these are all the compliance documents. I'll go through those. Applications are uploaded to us. These are the compliance documents, your OHS audit report, proof of ownership or lease agreement, your facilitator CVs, qualifications, IDs, proof of financial stability. We have to have a look at that because we think of the learners, remember, we need sustainable SDPs. The one point I want to raise in terms of the learning material, it has to be aligned to the matrix. If you go and look at the competency framework, which we call our curriculum document, it outlines what you need as an SDP per module. You go, that for an SDP, the curriculum document is your Bible. Because also, remember, the qualification can stay on the system, and we registered them for 5 years, right? It can be re-registered after 5 years, re-registered another 5 years. It could stay on the system for 10, 20, 15 years. In terms of the evaluation process, just for you to understand what we go through, we first have a desktop evaluation in terms of everything that you've sent us, to just check that everything's there. After that, it's the site verification that I spoke about. So we send subject matter experts. I must take this opportunity just to say, in your space, on our website, we've got applications to be a subject matter expert for QCTO. And then we have the physical site verification. After the site verification, it goes to our accreditation committee, and then you receive an outcome, whether positive or negative. If your outcome is negative, you still have an appeals process that you can send the appeal through our accreditation email address. That also goes to our appeals committee, and then you will get an outcome in relation to that. So that's generically the process. These are the links for the various qualification types that I mentioned earlier on. We've got links for the historically registered qualifications in terms of letters of intent, for the actual occupational qualifications and part qualifications, a separate one for the skills programs, and then obviously one for the NATED N4 to N6 like I'd mentioned, and then separate application for the assessment centers. So all of these links are available. Even if you require them, we can send them to anyone at any time. I could send it to Felicity, and she could send it to all of you to have those links. That link will send you straight to our website where you can load for the different application types. In terms of learner enrollment, it's important, I have to state this, after you are accredited by QCTO, the moment you get a single learner enrolled, you have to notify us within 21 days. You can't enroll learners, train, and then come at the end and say you want to have an ISA. You have to notify us within 21 days of enrolling a learner, because our quality assurance regime kicks in once you enroll the learner. Two things, like I'd mentioned, the 21 days for the qualifications, and then it's within 5 days for the skills programs. Within 5 days, because the skills programs are far shorter. So as soon as you have a single learner enrolled, you notify QCTO. Those are the two crucial things here. And then also learner enrollment, there are 2 phases. I think you'll look at the content. I've tried to at least make it make sense for you, so that when you get the presentation, it will also make sense for you. Just to load the learners onto our system, so that certification doesn't become a problem later on. This is just a few of the challenges that we've noticed. Sometimes the use of the links is an issue, but we do have staff that liaise with the STPs right through, and we find that it's usually software not speaking to each other. I mean, if you're using Linux and we're using Microsoft Office, it does cause a bit of an issue, but we find ways to resolve those issues. Non-responsiveness of the applicants, as I'd mentioned, we have a 90-day turnaround time. We can't afford for you to sit on the system without being processed. And then this is a bit of an issue that we've noticed in the space. A lot of SDPs are using consultants for the accreditation. What we've noticed with this is that the consultant will come, they will assist you to acquire accreditation, but they will not tell you how to implement this new occupational qualification. We actually were saying that you should apply yourself. We should come and verify you ourselves, because in that process, you're learning what you need to actually know. If you only use a consultant and the consultant goes, when we send our team, we've realized our monitoring and evaluation team consistently is giving us feedback that we arrive at this SDP, they don't understand our processes because they didn't do it themselves, because they're reliant on only consultants. So that's the negative part. I had to mention it. It is a challenge for, not only for us, it's a challenge for you as an SDP. Go through the process yourself. Look at our policy document. Our policies are very, very straightforward. Look at our guidelines. We've got guidelines linked to each policy. Look at those processes. I promise you it is not difficult. It's not insurmountable. It's just a compliance process and you get accreditation. Like I said, accreditation is not the big issue. Maintaining your accreditation is the issue. The fourth industrial revolution waits for no country. It moves. We as also have to move to make sure we train our citizens with the right type of training. Thank you, colleagues.